Wow, we're from North America, right?
Yes, that is where we're from.
So if you guys follow me on my other channel, I put a personal vlog out about the week we went to the LCS. What's today? Tuesday?
I went to the LCS and watched games. He went to the LCS to harass girls.
That didn't even happen. Girls literally took my phone and took pictures.
He was late to like every single game, walking outside, taking singular photos with everybody.
The competitive players? Really?
Or watching the competitive games.
Yeah, or I could take pictures of players that I never see that I just watch through my screen half the year.
Are you saying you wanted to take pictures more so than you wanted to watch the games?
I mean, they're both. It goes hand in hand.
Yeah,
though.
but you're missing the games to take pictures. I would never do that. So for the
he
most
took a
part,
picture of Piglet.
I did.
I had to bring him over. I was like, "Hey, my friend's taking a picture."
I'm gonna be honest. I was extremely I was super shy.
We did clutches. Actually, we met a lot of really nice people there. Everybody was nice to talk to. The girls are really nice. They all loved me.
Oh
God.
My God.
And then when Piglet's time was up, I was like, "Hey, my friend wants to take a picture." He's like, "Yeah, sure." And then
he bowed to me. It's just like I love him so much.
And then right as it's his turn to take a picture of him, I was like, "Hey, can you go with me first?"
Okay. So essentially,
yeah, I'm the alpha male around here.
We didn't even announce
and
it.
Actually, when we got there pretty early, I won a C9 hat, a poster. Well, they gave the poster away for free, and then I got this for answering some diamond level Cloud9 questions.
Okay, so is that what we haven't done is tell you what this video is about. So.
Oh yeah, week 2,
day 1.
In a. Why were you not bouncing off like that?
What were you?
You supposed to say predictions.
Was I supposed to?
I'm done with you. First game is Echo Fox versus TSM. How do you think that one's going to play out? And how does TSM win?
How does TSM win? I think they're the clear favorites. I think that obviously TSM, their weakness was kind of stemming from the fact that they didn't. I think a lot of it comes from their lack of. They weren't winning around the map.
They got flamed pretty hard for not winning against Clutch.
By the time Broken Blade has taken his advantage towards the bottom side of the half of the map, both of his solo laners were losing pretty substantially. Piglet had forced Sven into turret and had taken a pretty substantial. He was even in CS.
Taking his butt.
Yeah. Okay. So, but he had forced him into lane. He took a pretty okay. I think he took 1 or 2. I can't remember how many turret platings he took, and he had Kleptomancy. So he was up. Even though the CS was even, he was up 1,000 gold.
Yeah, people got factor in. Even if
I think
Broken Blade and Acadian were winning, that doesn't mean the other parts of the map were just winning either.
So I think that when he took his by the time he had taken it, I think that they kind of they'd already been able to solidify their lead against the laners. Bjergsen was down 20 CS, although I do think he was winning a lot of the solo fights.
He won a lot of the trades.
He did. I think that Demonte is the single most impressive player of the entire week. The single most surprising player, I would say. He was probably the best mid laner last week out of everybody. I think that it was genuinely surprising how well he played. He was the reason they won pretty much both games. I think that the first game
taunt he did over the wall.
The first game it was the top side of the map, and then Piglet and them kind of struggling a bit, and the second half it was him and then the bot side of the map taking over. So I think that was a clear that's kind of.
Well, the thing with them is they were supposed to. A lot of people dubbed them to be a better version of Echo Fox from last year. They had aggressive players, but we didn't necessarily you still have Huni, Lyra, Demonte. Just pretty much they're supposed to be just an upgraded version of Echo Fox from last year, except more smarter around the map and more controlled aggression. Kind of just like an NA version of Griffin.
Much more gooder. But
see, this is the thing. I would say Echo Fox would beat them, but then I realized one thing.
What?
TSM has Broken Blade, and then Echo Fox has Solo.
So that's a big problem. Solo has been absolutely terrible.
The Broken Blade is gonna have the freest laning phase ever.
His first game, he didn't die, but he didn't do anything. All of his ult engages were completely.
We spent 30 minutes baiting this one too.
I actually was completely.
And I totally won.
He did actually win this one.
The thing is that when you engage, if I tell you, hey, I'm coming, and no one comes to my engage,
he missed them. He didn't just.
That's the thing. His team also is not following up either.
Why would anybody follow up solo? Tell me that you see.
Hey, I'm gonna flank
this guy.
I'm flanking from mid. I'm a TP flank this team. I'm gonna flank the back line. And you guys need to come and help me.
So this is how it works. When if I was in promos, he comes up to me and he says, "Hey, I'm gonna ult down mid.
I'm gonna flank.
Yeah, I'm gonna flank as Scion. Get ready." I would instantly leave the call and I would not listen to that. That is not something. That is not the player I'd listen to.
Summoner just disconnects.
But like realistically, Solo. I mean, I don't think there was really any situation where they couldn't have fought. Like they were pretty close behind. I think if you landed them.
You remember when he was trying to do that? They were relatively even. They had just won a team fight when Piglet ran up and down, ulted and ran up and down. That's when the fight went. That's when it changed. And they were relatively even. And if they win a couple more team fights, their composition scale comes online.
I'm going to point it out. I don't even think he was the worst player of the first game.
For Solo?
Is most definitely going to Rush.
That's going to Phoenix. That guy's
Rush was
not good.
Phoenix was 1v9 in that game. I'm sorry. Phoenix was the best player of that game on his team.
Like Phoenix was re-sign this guy? He does not look good right now.
I think he looks fine. I think the biggest problem with this team is Rush getting Karthus 2 games in a row. After the first game where he looked like the single worst player in the league, he didn't.
Well, the thing with Rush was that we thought Echo Fox would do better was because that if they have a really good jungler, that he would kind of generate advantage, early game pressure around the map, and the other junglers in the league were not as good as Rush. The only people we had Rush pretty much over, you had Rush pretty much over a lot of people except for like Sven Skaren.
I had him above Sven.
He was supposed to be above Sven Skaren, Acadian, Grig. He was only not supposed to lose to like Dardoch, Xminty, and Meteos. So, but the thing is, if their jungler, which is their best player, doesn't come aligned, then the team just falls apart. That's what we thought going into the split.
I think that a big surprising factor was Apollo Hako in the second game against Optic. Who did they play yesterday? No, they played Golden Guardians. Second game against Golden Guardians where they just...
I mean, I don't know about that. Like, they had a free laning phase.
But they smashed them. Like, this was straight up... I think that Echo Fox played it perfectly. I think that, not in terms of it around the map, but their laning phase, this was just complete dominance. I think that Apollo Hawkwill played out of their minds that game and took over the game. Solo...
I haven't seen them play that good since they beat TSM in spring last year.
I mean, Solo is still not useful. Like, regardless of the situation, I think he was by far...
We were sitting here like 10 minutes thinking, why did they not play Lorlo?
Yeah, I think if you listen to that game during a fight during top, when Solo and Hans were yelling, if you listen to the thing, you might hear me yell, you better not get soloed by Solo. Like, Hans, because I yelled it during that fight, and I was at the game.
Yeah, when we were watching the game live, he was like, please don't die to Solo Hanser.
Yeah, I said, please don't die to Solo Hanser. Or don't get soloed. I said something.
He was trying to make a pun.
I was not trying to make a pun. I wasn't listening.
And he was actually being serious at the same time.
Like, I was very upset because Hanser was definitely better than that. But again...
Oh, yeah, someone asked, why isn't the noise very loud in North America and, like, EU? Because, when big plays happen and the shoutcasters are shouting, a lot of people start just going insanely, because you don't really know what's going on all the time, and a lot of people are yelling and stuff like that. So when people say that they can't hear the crowds because the riot tunes you down.
That's just realistically what happens at every public
event. Could you imagine how the Korean girls in Korea are screaming?
Well, it's just like, what happens is the mic that actually picks up the sound is really close to the crowd, so they tune them down. Every single time, they have an actual barrier on the sound. So every time the sound picks up, it levels it right there and doesn't let it get above that sound.
Like, you can hear big cheers, but you can't hear when people are going absolutely insane because people were laughing insanely hard when he messed up. I'm pretty sure he heard that.
I think we're getting kind of off topic right now.
But honestly. Yeah, someone had asked me that on my first channel. Like, how come I can't hear people that loud? It's just will tune you down because people are going absolutely insane.
Echo Fox, let's try and get back on track.
But I don't see this problem. This thing, TSM lost to Clutch. I'm just gonna put it straight out there. It's because they didn't do anything when they won. The game was a 3v5, and they lost a 3v5. They beat top. They beat jungle. You just win at that point.
You can't just win.
They group around the map. They force objectives. The Lyra and Huni can't contest because they are instantly going to die.
I think the biggest problem, what they should have done, was kind of after they got the first lane, they kind of swap around the map because the problem
they did the first part right with top. They did the first part correctly.
And I think a big portion of it was right after that, Aatrox actually roamed down and started shoving mid while the rest of his team kind of grouped into the lane. Another thing that I think was smart, while Acadian kind of gravitated, I think that was another smart point on their point. You kind of have the Aatrox shoving another lane, and that was right after that, Broken Blade had no clue what to do around the map.
Because he got the first 3 solo kills. They get Rift Herald. They kill Lyra in a gank before that. So essentially, they're both really far behind. They take top tower. Why did he not go bot?
You can't go bot.
Because they took Dragon after that, which is okay. You take Dragon, that's fine.
I think his situation where he roamed into mid was fine, but then they forced a team fight.
But he got deep vision though.
But he did actually start shoving in the mid wave, if you remember. Like he started shoving in the mid right after that.
Urgot doesn't even need help shoving the wave.
It was Aatrox.
No, but
no, Urgot had rotated. The thing
yeah,
about it
because
is
they rotated bot.
Yes.
Because Urgot used his ult on Vulcan and he stopwatch.
Yeah. What I'm saying is the situation was, in my opinion, it was not a bad call on a part. That point, they played the game fine. I think that they were losing in the bot lane, in mid lane. I don't know how Bjergsen wasn't actually losing the trades.
Bjergsen did roam. It's very rare you see him roam.
Bjergsen actually did win the trades against Damonte before this moments. Like, he was winning all of the trades, forcing out ults and flashes and stuff. Like, but the problem was, even though he was getting the leads, like inserted, he was not killing him, and that's a big portion of it. It wasn't like by the time Akali gets to that first item, if you haven't taken the lead about her, even if you start killing her, she can go into stealth and then heal back up. So she was essentially just healing back up every single time. I think that is a big problem. Like,
I think that situation, you would have much rather just favored Lissandra. I don't know why they banned Lissandra away from Damonte, and they had let him take a Akali in the first round rotation.
I think what they wanted to do, they banned Galio, and then they did not want him on these things because they were trying to force him on something that they didn't think he was capable of playing these playmaking stuff. I mean,
he's actually not that. Bjergsen's not that good at Urgot, though.
I don't think it's very hard to be. He was playing fine. I don't think his Urgot was bad.
Because why did they have Bjergsen rotate to mid when he could have just stayed mid and have Broken Blade, who was really far ahead at that point, just go bot and then dive bot and then take the tower there?
I think, again, I don't think the first rotation to mid was bad. I think the rotation into mid, I don't want to keep touching on this point because we've done it like 7 times, but I don't think that point, like, when he rotated in mid, it was fine. When he committed to a team fight, at this point, when you're either building, when you're ahead, you build for the team fight, or you build for the soul lane, and he built for the split push. He built full damage, he built pretty much only damage, and then tried to engage on the team. And if you're doing good, your soul lanes have not taken the lead. Good. Yeah, like Piglet was actually soloed him at one point when they tried to go in mid. Akali was too strong for him, shoved him out of the wave. Like, he had to ult away from Akali too. Like,
he even preemptively ulted in a fight just so he wouldn't get blown up.
Like, I mean, essentially that's what you're forced to do because you build full damage. Like, his problem was he got the lead and then didn't build properly, didn't play his build properly. Like, I think that if he had built his lead, built that, and then kind of after rotating, pushing in mid, he kind of rotated bot and had his team rotate out of there, I think it would have done fine.
But like, basically the way you saw Niski play Aatrox is the way Broken Blade should have played it. Every single lane, he pushed them out. Advantages, team fighting constantly. Yeah. Broken Blade kind of just did nothing after a while.
I feel like we're just reviewing the TSM versus...
But, I don't think I don't think TSM lose. Even if TSM do play slow, I don't think it matters to Echo Fox.
I do actually I want to point it out that, again, I want to touch on Broken Blade's first game this time. I think where he soloed Someday, I think that was just a situation where I think he was, Someday was just extremely uncomfortable on Victor. And then Huni was just he was not knowledgeable about the situation. He evolved E first for the shove, but he was behind. He spent all of his mana, then stayed in the lane 5 minutes afterwards. So
then got ganked.
Yeah, he didn't even get. He just got sold the first time. Like that's the situation. You cannot use all your mana and then stay in the lane. Like, if Aatrox lands 1 Q, you have to flash.
Because he's just going to use his chain.
Because I was not impressed with Broken Blade soloing, because the fact is I was not impressed with any point in Someday's Victor play. I think that he did not know how to play Victor. And Huni wasted his mana, then overstayed in the lane without mana. So I think Broken Blade was easily able to take advantage of that. Like, Huni at that point has to dodge everything, or he has to flash. And then after that, the counter ganks took over. So I'm going to point it out. I think that Broken Blade's really good, and I think he's going to be really good in this league. But this was not a very good indicator of how good his laning phase is, because I think this was just a little too in his favor. So...
But I think for this match coming up, I think his laning phase is just too free.
I think it's just absolutely too free. I think he's gonna smash solo, and I think this is gonna give.
They could just, as long as he realizes how to translate his lead, then it's fine. I think Sven and Smoothie will not lose to Apollo and Hakuo. They didn't even lose. They themselves didn't lose. Like, they weren't, a reason why TSM lost their games.
I'm going to be honest. I think that
Kaisa to Sivir,
Sven Smoothie they got beat in lane. Like, they were losing
Kaisa to Sivir, really? Sivir just instantly beats Kaisa early. Shoves her in, pokes her with the W's and ricochets.
The W's do no damage early game.
But they do force you out.
They don't force you. You can literally just ignore them early game. Like,
I think Piglet had the favored. I think Piglet had the counter matchup.
He played Ezreal.
He played.
He played Ezreal into.
Oh yeah, it was Ezreal. What am I talking about? Even worse. Like Ezreal's just gonna poke you with Q, and now he's doing W.
There's no reason you should honestly being shoved in against an Ezreal. Ezreal has no pushing power.
Like they had Tom Kench and Ezreal against Kai'Sa Thresh. Like Tom Kench counters. I think that they played well, but they did do well because of their counter matchups.
It wasn't a counter matchup. I think that this was genuinely just not good play on their part. I think you can play well, Thresh. What's it called? Because you can't really get onto the ADC as Tom Kench. It's impossible. You saw a Piglet poking him out level 3 WEQing into Sven. I think he was just outclassed this game, honestly.
But overall for this one,
I think
TSM wins is pretty easy.
I think we need to. I mean, we probably need to acknowledge a few of the lanes first.
Yeah, Bjergsen at Phoenix.
I think that Bjergsen I think he played really well the first game, but the second game, he was still winning the laning phase until the point where the team fights came, and then I think that Demonte just got too far ahead for him to be able to keep up. And then Sven Mithy, I think that's Sven Smoothie. I think Smoothie's been playing fine, but Sven has been a big question mark for me recently.
I think it's. Remember, this is the first time he's playing with someone different in like 3 or 4 years.
It could be possible. Again, I'll give him the
benefit of the doubt for like a couple more weeks because remember, you go from playing with Mithy to Smoothie. It's probably gonna be a big difference. Yeah, like again, either he needs to learn how to keep up, or he just needs to step up himself.
Yeah, but again, Sven's not been on point, so I think that Apollo Hako might be the stronger lane right now as it stands. Even though I actually thought Sven would be the best ADC coming into this year.
He still might be. I mean, it's only week 2 we're predicting for.
He was straight up beat. Not even discluding the supports, man. I'm sorry.
Discounting the counter matchups.
It was not really a counter matchup. I'm sorry.
Who else we have? Oh, junglers. Rush and Acadian.
I think that Acadian's been playing it absolutely tremendous. Like I think that he's been setting up a lot of his team's success with his early game pressure. Like if this team,
I think Grig's getting his job back.
I really hope he doesn't because Grig was not as substantially necessary to this team as what I would say Grig is. I mean, Acadian is. Acadian's putting a lot of pressure around the map. He's doing a lot for his team.
He's making plays. He's getting leads. He doesn't need Bjergsen to roam with him because he's good enough to not need Bjergsen to roam with him.
Yeah. He counter ganked in the top lane against Lyra Huni. I think he's done a lot of good for this team, so I think that...
I just don't see a world in which Grig gets his job back.
So all around, I think that a big problem with this is going to be Apollo Hako. They're going to put a lot of pressure around this lane.
But I think that Solo is too heavy to carry.
It might be possible. I don't think he's really fed recently. He's just not had good engages.
I think that Solo is he's just so heavy to carry that the point it's like if Acadian and Broken Blade put him behind, they're just gonna just repeatedly gank him and he's gonna just fall.
His laning phase really hasn't been the big question mark. It's been everything after that.
Which is the best part. Which is the most crucial points about the game.
It's not. It's like again. Broken Blade's been getting a lot of his leads purely from laning phase and then not translating well into that.
I mean, that could be just inexperience. Soul knows how to do those things.
Broken Blade has been playing probably just as long as Solo at this point. He's been playing for quite a bit of time.
Yeah, factor. I don't know. I think that Broken Blade just will take over the mat in this game a lot more easy.
I'm hoping so, and I do think he is probably the better laner, and I think he's going to solo him, maybe. But again, I don't want to give him too much credit because Solo's big weakness has not been laning phase. It's been everything like not being able to gauge properly. So I'm going to say that TSM wins this, but it's mostly going to be coming from the fact that I think that top lane's just a little too in favor of TSM. I think Solo might be the single worst top lane in the league right now.
That hasn't changed.
Yeah.
They might sub in Lola. Who knows?
I really hope that's the
Even
case.
if they do, Broken Blade's still going to win.
Yeah, but I think that mid lane, again, is very much... I think it's still in favor of Bjergsen. I think even though Phoenix has been playing fine, I think that Bjergsen is just quite a bit outclassing him. Jungle, Acadian's been playing honestly the second best player to the first best player on this team. I would say second or first best player on this team TSM team recently. Like he's just been setting up too many things around the map, getting a lot of leads for his team. This aggressive playstyle is really fitting into the team right now.
Finally, holy crap!
And then bot lane,
I think Smoothie shot call.
Smoothie, I don't know. It feels like he is, but again, I think that Sven needs to step up.
And I think people are really going, oh well, it didn't work in the clutch game. I mean. That could be just... I mean, literally, they were winning. It was a one-team fight. They got a little bit lucky.
I don't think it got lucky. I think they were ahead of
Broken Blade straight up inted in that fight. So did Acadian. He used his cast on a... Oh my god, he used a cast on a gray health Tom Kench. What is wrong with you?
He used his what?
The explosive cast on Vulcan as he was gray healthing. As he gray health and ate Piglet. Why would you do that? He hoped they would knock him back.
If he knocks him back, Piglet is forced back into the team too.
And Vulcan dies too, but they both had flash up.
I mean, Vulcan can't get out. Piglet can because he has E and Flash. That's still a good explosive cast.
And like Sven lunges in and Bjergsen lunges like
The big problem with that was Sven ulting behind the team. That
was
actually
too much.
was too much. Yes, I think that kind of lost him the team fight.
if they let Bjergsen fight first, then Sven comes in, that's a lot better.
I think this team, it's going to come around. Again, Sven's been playing really well throughout his entire career, so I think he's going to bounce back. But
Like I said, new support after a long time. I mean, this has been a while. It's like 4 years.
yeah, so let's hope that's the case. I'm going to put TSM and
it's like
you.
TSM.
All right, so the Cloud9 versus Golden Guardians thing, I don't really see how anybody could predict anything else, but...
I don't see how...
Okay, so
Who do you
Niski...
think I'm predicting for?
Shut up. So, top lane, I think that Licorice has been playing, like, one of the best top laners in the league right now. Like, he might be
He was power ranked by us. Well, you had him third. I had him
third or fourth.
second.
I think third or fourth.
No, because you had fourth as Broken Blade. Yeah,
So,
he's arguably supposed to be, what, second place, technically?
I'm going to say third. I think that, like, he was supposed to be third before the season. I think that right now he's playing, like, probably the best top laner in the league.
I don't think it's going to stop for a while, because most people factor in your sophomore season, a lot of players have slumped. So
I don't think that's a good enough reason. I still don't think... I think a lot of the presence he's kind of done, like, more so the success he's got was due to the fact that a lot of the best top laners are slumping. That
I actually like that he's one of the few players that have went to Worlds and translated his performance back from Worlds. He couldn't play the Victor top lane at Worlds, and then they gave it to him this time around when he's learned how to play against it and play as it, and he's just gotten substantially better. Yeah. So that proves that he's on an upward trajectory now. He went to Worlds, got clapped toward the very end of it, figured out, okay, how? I need to learn how to play this. Played it, and played it just fine. So I like that.
I think that's a good thing. Again, I think...
Haunter, who's completely inting.
I think that Haunter's not completely inting. I still think he's one of the, like, probably...
After that Rizal was... What the... single worst play, possibly competitively, since Renegades' turret thing.
So I'm going to say, again, I think a lot of this, like...
Where does Golden Guardians win?
I think that Golden Guardians has a okay... Like, I don't think they went anywhere, but I think that their strongest point is going to be the bot lane.
I thought it was going to be mid.
I think Niski... Niski's playing pretty well. The second game... I think the first game he got outclassed. Jensen's
but he himself... The gameplay Niski was playing, he wasn't really that bad.
He got outclassed and he just got stomped.
He missed a couple skill shots.
He got stomped in lane, dude. Like, I'm sorry. There's no saving that. He played terrible the first game. The second game, I think he played fine. I think he did really well, actually. Him essentially taking over the game on Aatrox was just incredible, in my opinion. But a lot of the success for Cloud9 is going to come pretty much in just everywhere. Like, I don't know what to say. They're smarter around the map. They have better laners. Like, there's no situation where I see Golden Guardians win. Golden Guardians looks completely disorganized. They're top. All of these players... I'm like...
In my personal opinion, the best player right now is, like, Contracts, but...
Contracts is not the best player. I think their best player is probably Deathly. Second best player is Froggen, and then third best is...
I was going to say Haunter's second best.
Haunter's a toss-up.
Because he played good day one.
He did.
I don't know what happened to him day two.
Haunter's a toss-up for third best. I think it's between him and Contracts. Because Contracts played a little bit better in the second day, but I don't think it was that impressive.
This thing, Golden Guardians coach is Anero. You said he wasn't going to have the same success he had on Echo Fox on Golden Guardians.
I don't like Anero as a coach, to be honest. I've said that a few times, but for the most part, I think that...
Like, why?
What's up?
Why?
I don't know what you want me to say, honestly.
You don't like his drafts?
I don't like his drafts. Again,
dictates his team around the map?
Exactly. Like, the decisions his teams have always made around the map, the teams he's always in charge of, I don't ever like their decision. Like, was Echo Fox known as a good, strong decision-making team?
They were known as a Fiesta.
They were known as this aggressive... Like, every team he's taken control of, I've never liked their kind of play style around the map. It's fun to watch. And again, that's why I like Clutch Gaming. But he's not... Obviously, if that is the kind of coaching style that he has, he's doing a terrible job. That's not smart. It's not smart play. That's just aggressive.
I mean, he's playing to his team's strengths. If their strength is I have to be aggressive around...
It's not just pure aggression. It's just mindless aggression. I'm sorry. That was not smart in his opinion, in my opinion. I think he's getting a little bit less slack because his teams are succeeding. But now that he doesn't have the strengths in what I would say are the solo lanes, he's going to get kind of exposed at this point. But
yeah, I think Cloud9 win this pretty easily.
I think that all around, yeah, again, Niski played really well the second game. I think that is pretty a good indicator of what he's going to do against everybody that's not named
Bjergsen or Jensen.
Demonte's
maybe he's I don't know yet.
I don't know yet. Again, I don't want to give Demonte too much credit, but Demonte looked like the single best mid laner in the league last week. Like, I'm really excited for him. But
yeah,
again, I just like
25.
I think
I'm thinking like 20 minutes.
Sneaky played really well too. I think that Zeyzal
The way Zeyzal was blocking everything. Yeah. He had like 30 mana, and he used his Braum shield at the last minute to save Sneaky from like everything.
What team was that?
100 Thieves.
100 Thieves was walking down, and they were trying to finish off somebody in the bot lane, and Sneaky like actually just one shot him. What was that ability? He just finished him off from the
Zeyzal protected him, and then he used his True Shot Barrage to take out Afro after that.
What I'm saying is, I think that again, Cloud9 is playing really well right now. So I think that there's no situation where I see them losing any of the lanes. Smarter on the map once they get their leads in the lane. I think that if they're gonna win, it's gonna come out of probably
every single lane.
No, I'm talking about if Golden Guardians wins.
If Cloud9 win, the kick is gonna come out of potentially every lane.
I don't.
If Golden Guardians win,
I think it's gonna
Contracts and Haunter.
I don't like that. I don't like the
Contracts is doing good things around the map.
I disagree.
The problem with that
it was only
is
game
that
2, and I don't think he translated it well later on the stages. I didn't like his first day.
I think that his team is not capitalizing on what he's trying to provide.
He's making poor mistakes. I'm sorry.
Remember the Lee Sin kick he did in the Galio?
That was the only one I liked.
He did the Lee Sin kick on Karthus when he walked in.
Again, that was another thing that he made.
He's ganking. He's pathing pretty well. I think his team is just discoordinated right now. I think that it works out better if they gelled faster.
Again, I still think he's probably the 4th or 3rd best player on the team. I liked his second day. I hated his first day. I think that a lot of people are giving him credit because of that first game, but that was really the only play that I saw that he made like substantially good. Later on in the fights, I did not like what he did. I think his KDA was preserved, so it kind of gives a lot of people who are looking at
security.
No, a lot of people who looked at the box scores kind of got a glimpse of, oh wow, he's doing good, but in reality, I don't think he was making much happen. I don't think he's the worst jungler in the league anymore. I think that was something I said last split, but it's not the case anymore.
Sorry, that was definitely Rainover. But he was Raino. If we had a top 11, Rainover would be like 11th, and then Contracts would be like 10th.
I would say that
maybe Lyra.
I don't know, man. Contracts was definitely down there. But
he'd be tied for 11th.
I don't know if I think Rainover is quite a bit worse, if anything.
Rainover's career is over.
Yeah,
well, Contracts is still going at least.
Yeah. But all around, I think it's gonna come out of. I think that when they set up ganks around the map, with the Froggen kind of making the initiation and Contracts like kind of being a part of the team, I think that they make a pretty good front line for what I would say is definitely who's playing well right now. So all around, I think this could still work out well for them, but it's gonna have to come down to like just in tremendous engages from Froggen, because I think on Galio he's the most successful player on the team. When he's playing Galio towards the later end, besides the laning phase, he's the most useful player on the team. So all around, Cloud9 wins this. I don't think anybody else is going to predict anything, but
if they Golden Guardians somehow win, you know someone did not predict that. You got lucky.
All right, so let's go to 100 Thieves versus TSM.
I don't really know what to say. 100 Thieves look probably worse as Golden Guardians. Who'd have said that coming into this play?
I mean, again, I don't think that's the case. I think they look disjointed, but their laning phase is quite a bit better than Golden Guardians. I mean,
it's not even by that much at this point.
It's by quite a bit. Bot lane was absolutely fine. I think that Bang and Aframu played really well. I think that Bang and Aframu still looked like a pretty top tier bot lane, but reality is that I think that
they're like a tiny bit above Golden Guardians after that week 1 performance.
I think it's quite a bit above. I would put them like 3.
Both junglers are not good.
I think they're better than CLG too. I think that.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, they are better than CLG. But maybe I don't know. Maybe
not. Maybe I think that bot mid lane is kind of a liability for them. I think that Someday is playing out of like just beyond what anybody expected.
If I can rank junglers right now, Onda is 10th.
Yeah, he is. I mean, Onda's just not doing anything. Onda's not feeding, but he's also not participating.
He's got the Lyra syndrome last year.
In the first 2 games, I don't think he ganked a single time. I'd have to look back on those games, but
and then the second day he attempted a Nocturne gank, and then that didn't go too well.
Yeah, but again, I think that he did not really make anything happen around the map. Like he didn't participate. I think that Aframu, Bang are playing the lane well, but I don't think Aframu's a good shot caller at this point, man. They made a pretty substantial amount of poor decisions.
See, we even debated like 30 minutes about his flank. His flank works if he does it at a certain angle. Because he went up to do it. So if you come the other way, when they were actually there for a good 5 seconds poking him, if he comes from the straight angle, pulverizes, then his team capitalizes, that's better. He goes and pulverizes them, flash pulverizes too far away for a team to capitalize on anything.
I mean, again, if he flashes where you're talking about, it was over the Dragon Wall. He couldn't make a really actually good flash over there. I think that his flash was fine. He got the back line. His engage was fine. The problem with that was at the time that he had done it, they had already been poked out too much to the point where they could not follow up on it. I think that it was just too late of an engage, and I think that it was due to the fact that they were just too far behind at that point. Even a good engage would not make much happen, so I think that Afro is still making things happen. Just
they have an inting mid laner at that point,
and top laner. Sadly, some days playing really poorly right now. Some days gonna have to come back to form if this team is gonna do anything. And again, I don't know what's going on with him. He's not this bad. Like, he's not an Aurelian one-trick like a lot of people on the forums are saying. Like, that was not him since, like, 2016. I think he's improved drastically for the past 2 seasons, and he was...
Well, if he because if you watch the 100 Thieves video he put out a while ago, he wants to be like MVP. So like this would look bad on him.
I don't think he's an MVP right now, and I don't think he was gonna be. But again, he's really good. Like, I think a lot of people are not giving him credit for what he did last year.
He wasn't even a bad mid laner last year.
He was not a bad mid laner, and he was not a one trick on Aurelian Soul and feeding on everything else. That just isn't him anymore. That just wasn't him.
That's even if that were true, he wasn't feeding on everything else.
He wasn't. But reality is, I think that as it stands right now, he's just not good enough. He's not playing well enough. I think that it's not going to happen. There's no way Team Liquid, probably the best team in the league right now, loses to 100 Thieves. It's not going to happen.
100 trash.
So I'm going to say it goes pretty handily. Double lift, Core JJ looked like the best bot lane in the
Impact
league.
and Xminty can be exposed. I just want to put that out there.
By who? Like, I don't think anybody in the league is really...
I think Cloud9 attempted it, but that's a thing where people can exploit. But the problem is you can't exploit them if you're losing in general.
I just don't
you can't exploit Xminty and Impact if your mid, bottom laners are just losing.
I just don't think Cloud9's capable of it, because they can make Impact feed, but I don't think they can make him feed to the point where he's useless. Impact is good without resources, and from behind, I think he's fine. I think that Svenskeren not good enough to make him fall behind.
But that's the thing, though. Even if you can make their top side fall behind, their bottom side is just too strong.
Yeah, this is the most aggressive bot lane in terms of just support and ADC.
And then Jensen's just not going to lose to pretty much anybody.
I think the only good matchup against Team Liquid is gonna be Clutch Gaming this year. That's the only single matchup.
No, there's no bias right there at all.
I'm again like aggressive. I don't think Cloud9's worse or anything. I do think they're worse, but I don't think it's like by a substantial amount. I think their bot lane is passive. Like, once it gets out of laning phase, I think he's fine, but he's not an aggressive laner. And I think top lane is good, but again, Clutch Gaming has a strong top side, but they also have an aggressive bot, which I think at the very least is not going to fall behind as much as Sneaky Zazel. They have an aggressive jungler. I think that Svenskeren's not been that recently. And their mid laner's playing out of his mind right now. So all around,
was the meme. Who was better, the Nunu or the Svenskeren?
So all around, I think that Clutch Gaming could very much match up against if Team Liquid as they're playing. But it's gonna come like again, who would not have to play.
Oh no,
play different than
I
they
think
did
TL
against
would smash them too.
I don't think smash, but I think they'd still win. Again, Team Liquid's the best team in the league, but their worst matchup's gonna be against Clutch.
Yeah, I think TL just win 100 Thieves pretty easy.
I think again,
100 Thieves are going 0-3. Who'd have predicted that?
I think that if 100 Thieves wants to win this game, it's going to have to come through bot. I thought
they were going to come through top.
Why would top some days not playing well enough?
If he did play well this week.
Well, then if he plays well, I think he's going to dominate Impact.
Yeah, if he does play well, then I think he needs to be given a carry. And if you give him a carry and you pair Onda up with something that doesn't necessarily fall too far behind, if he doesn't get behind Xminty, then I think that if you want to win, you play through top side.
Again,
if you playing through bot, I think that Bang and Afro aren't coordinated properly enough yet to sufficiently pull that off at the moment. So I think that if you want a safer bet to win, I think you put that in top lane right now. But later on in the split, let's say they have a rematch in like week 7. I think then you can do Bang and Afro. But right now as it stands, I think you need to do it against a person who knows how to sufficiently carry with resources that they're given.
I think Bang and Afro are definitely capable of carrying if they get a lead. And I think that again, this is going to be a hard matchup in terms of bot lane for them. Because I think Bang and Afro are going to match up really well against them. The problem is not that, though. It's going to be 3 players on the rest of the 3 players on their team are either underperforming or just not good. Ondo's not playing well. He's just not good.
Ondo's too heavy right now.
Who he is playing, he's underperforming drastically. Somebody's performing terribly too. Like 2 of these players are just not that bad.
Impact doesn't even have to be feeding. Impact just doesn't have to die against him. Yeah, so and then he's fine.
I don't think anybody's going to predict Team Liquid losing this one.
100 Thieves are going 0-3. You heard it here, folks.
Okay, and then Flyquest versus CLG. I actually...
how are we going to predict this one? This one's odd. Because we we had like zero faith in Flyquest coming in. I mean, I still kind of do. I do think that they've been getting, I'm not gonna say lucky, but they're gonna be that team that does well at the beginning and then fall toward the big.
I think
they're gonna fall toward the very end because teams love. It's not even just gelling. When the better players just start playing better, they're gonna look worse. That's how it's always been in every single league, no matter what league you watch.
I'm gonna actually give them credit. I think that when they get a lead, they're absolutely doing the right. They're doing the right thing.
Now.
No, it's not just like the fact that when they get ahead, they know what to do. That's not something right now. Once they get, even later on in the season, if they get that lead, they're gonna know because I think they're smart. I think that in terms of playstyles, they're a smart team.
But you're factoring in their players playing too. The reason why they did well so well against Optic last week, which is not last week, because Optic didn't know how to beat them at a certain point of having a lead.
They didn't know how to close out.
Now, if that was if that was like a Cloud9, a TL, a TSM, a Cloud9, a TL, then or Clutch, they're just gonna win the game.
Yeah, exactly.
But now that's the factor. I'm saying that better players, when the better players just come online, they're just gonna lose.
I agree with that.
They don't get that option of, hey, I can.
No one's agreeing saying that they're gonna be a top team. I think a lot of people, there's very few people overreacting about that. So saying that they're going to lose to the top 3 teams is not a hot take. That's just reality. But again, I think that we gave them way too much slack, and I think they're a playoff team at this point.
I don't know. We didn't give them too much slack. I think that the ball lane is still pretty bad.
JJ was not bad last year, and I think he's been pretty bad this year. But
well, I mean, we were ranking them in terms of everybody else.
Yeah, again, Viper's shown up. I think he's pretty substantially good. He's exceeded my expectations already. Paul Belter's was one of the best.
Holy crap!
Yeah, second or first. Like again, I think he was in competition with Demonte for the best mid laner in the league.
If Paul Belter plays like that, the whole split, yeah, MVP material right there.
Yeah, I think he's like if they make the playoffs, it's gonna be off his back, and he's definitely MVP.
But you can't forget about Santorin. He's not been playing bad either.
Exactly, Santorin's been playing extremely well too. Again, Santorin was.
Never thought I'd say that in my life.
No, Santorin's been playing good ever since not on TSM or H2K. I keep forgetting about that.
Oh yeah, the 2 weeks he was on H2K.
I forget that he's on H2K. You brought it up last time we were at this LCS, and I remembered, but. Again, Santorin has been playing really well.
As it stands right now, I think Flyquest wins this pretty easy.
I think Flyquest beats pretty much everybody that's not the very top.
I think they're not going to win this easy. I think Wild Turtle and JJ will get outlaned by 6A and Biofrost.
Yeah, again, 6A Biofrost has shown this year that they're actually pretty competent.
I think 6A is carrying Biofrost. Biofrost did not look impressive.
I think he didn't look great the second game. But first game, I think he looked fine. I think the second game, I think it was just getting outclassed. He's just not good enough to compete.
With Core JJ.
Yeah, it's just like, it was the reality of it. Like, Core JJ was just outplaying everybody, though. I think that he had a few situations where I thought Biofrost didn't play that very badly. I think that when he kind of engaged the back line, like during the fight where they took the bottom inhib turret, I think it was fine. But again, I think that Biofrost, 6A strong points of this team. Viper's not Viper,
what top line for CLG?
No, Darshan and Fallen Bandit, I think neither one of them are impressive. I think that Fallen Bandit actually showed glimpses of, hey, I can engage. But reality is, I think that he's the big reason as to why they lost the team fight around Dragon. Instead of going, from what I say, he had flash up and ult. Instead of flashing over the wall and getting what I would say was an inescapable 5-man stun, I don't think they had enough room to get away before getting stunned. He paths around, and by the time he made it all the way around, they'd lost the fight. And he only got one person with his ult.
That's the problem
after flashing in. So
people need to forget 6A eat over the wall. Now if he's engaging, there's no ADC either. He's literally just 1v9, 1v5ing an engage.
What I did like is that he did actually make an engage at the Raptor Pit topside. He did actually make a really good engage up there, and I honestly think if they weren't so far behind, they would have won them the game, or at least turned around the game. But they were too far behind at that point. It was too late.
What did you like? Did you like what you saw out of Fallen Bandit?
I think Fallen Bandit
did you like
showed.
What you've seen out of Darshan more?
I think Fallen Bandit showed potential. I think Darshan showed no potential.
You just hate Darshan.
I do hate Darshan.
Even if he didn't play that bad as a colleague.
I actually agree. He didn't play that bad, but he took Ignite Exhaust. You're supposed to win the lane. That's a big reason as to what happens. You win lane. That's what. That's
the problem is like we saw Demonte play a Kali, and then we saw Darshan play a Kali.
Yeah, it's not something I ever expected to say about Darshan. Like him being the elite while Darshan is just trash. But
I don't know. I like that CLG is willing to sub him out if he's not playing good, to give him competition to make him play better.
But another person I want to point out is Wiggly. I think that Wiggly.
Oh yeah, it was your first game seeing Wiggly on stage.
Wiggly, well, in person, but
and he was cute.
I think one thing was Power of Evil didn't play that poorly. the fight where he almost killed what's his name. The reason that they didn't finish him off was 100% on Wiggly's fault. He actually missed his
Camille's a hard champion to play.
no, not that one, not his E. Camille's E is not hard to land on a wall. You just throw it at a wall and it lands. He missed. Like, he was trying to get down in the corner so he can get extra range. I get that. You don't miss the wall though. There's no situation where I say that's acceptable.
But most people said after Power People landed the shock, he should have just flashed, autoed, and then he still had enough health to run away from the turret.
No, the moment, remember, he got headbutted back into the turret right after by Alistar, so he had to use that flash to get away. He does that, he dies. Anybody says that, like, he would have died if he had done that. Like, the reality is...
To be fair,
Like, the reality is that... Like,
oh my god.
dude, chill. Why are you even touching your phone, dork?
Notifications from girls.
That doesn't happen. But, like, reality is, I think that Power of Evil's playing fine. I think that he got outclassed the first game, but who wouldn't? That was not a surprising situation that he got outclassed by him. But, again, I think that... Like, I mean, Jensen's going to outclass most everybody.
Yeah, Power of Evil's, I think he's good, but the problem, Jensen is just substantially better.
Yeah. I think that, again, I'm gonna say that he's gonna do well against pretty much everybody else.
Flyquest have... I forgot. Pelbelter and Power Evil.
Yeah,
I don't know. This could swing either way, because Power Evil did not look terrible in his...
But Pelbelter looked really good, so it's gonna be really hard for him.
I know people are ragging on him about the Crown game. Crown is just a better player. Like, you can be given a counter matchup, but he's just physically outplaying you. It doesn't mean you're bad.
I don't think he even outplayed him specifically. I think Crown just outplayed him. I don't think he outplayed him. I think he outplayed the team. I think there was not a direct outplay for Power of Evil for the most part. But
they drafted a counter matchup for him to do that. Remember, they gave Power of Evil Xerath, and they gave Crown Lysandra. He got the last pick in the draft to have a lane matchup against Lysandra. He was given Xerath.
No, that was Orianna against.
That's day 2. He had Orianna against.
I was talking about day 1. Day 2. What game are you talking about? Day 2 is when he versed Crown.
Day 2.
He versed Crown the second day and he played Orianna into.
He faced Crown day 2.
Yes, that was the game we watched.
He played Jensen day 2.
No, he didn't. This is day 2 right here, Sunday. This is Flyquest versus Optic. We're talking about. I mixed up.
I'm gonna kill this guy.
I mixed up Pelbelter just right now because we were just talking about. Talking about.
I think that he was given the draft priority in game 1, but if someone's just outplaying you, I don't think he had to do much about that.
I don't want to say that he was getting outplayed. I think that it was not a direct I got outplayed. The situation was that. I think that you're talking about the what's it called?
I'm talking about the first day where he faced Optic. Yeah.
I don't think he was directly getting outplayed. I think that Crown himself was just outplaying everybody. Like, he was playing really ridiculously OP on Lysandra. I think that he made a substantial amount of good engages. Wait, was it? And then he played Zoe.
Zoe was when we went.
That was when we went. Okay, I remember.
I have to be the voice of reason around here.
Okay, all he does is name off teams.
Oh yeah.
Stop touching me, man.
So, I think I'll just say Flyquest wins. I don't think CLG's coordinated.
They're not coordinated, and
they don't know what they want around the map.
Too good. He's playing as substantial, just too good.
Torrent's playing better than
everybody.
Both junglers.
Yeah. So
they have Moon. They played Moon day 1.
Viper's playing better than all of their top laners. I think that just all around Flyquest wins this. Like, I just think they went around the map. If it's gonna come from a win. It's going to come from Pelbelter was overperforming the first week and
continues at the second week.
And no, I'm saying if CLG wins if it's going to come off the fact that Pelbelter was overperforming the first week, and he does not end up doing it this week, and it's going to lose a lot of their decisive, like, kind of engage.
Like, I think if CLG win, it's going to come through their.
It's going to come through their mid, honestly. Like, I don't think anybody else is competent enough. I think that maybe Wiggly kind of had stage jitters, so maybe that'll give him that. But
he played on the stage at the end of last year, though.
2 or 3 games is not enough.
I mean,
like, again, I don't think he played well enough. I think that Wiggly looked really bad. So all around, I think that Flyquest wins this, and there's not really a weakness they have. They win in pretty much every lane.
The last game of the day,
except for bot again. But a last game of the day is going to be Clutch Game versus Optic. I mean, I think a few people are still doubting my predictions on paper.
CO.
What is CO?
COG. That's if you put clutches C and then OG. It
would more be like clog.
Yeah.
CLOG.
I'll clog your toilet.
What? Like, that's funny. Uh-huh.
Slapstick humor.
Why is he hitting me, man? Okay, so all around.
Oh, he's gonna predict clutch.
Anybody who doesn't predict clutch is just stupid. Like,
We don't even know what roster they're gonna play.
I think they're gonna play their starting roster with Arrow, and I think they're gonna look substantially better because I think that.
Hold on, let me check Twitter because I think he said it was gonna be for 2 weeks exactly.
If it's 2 weeks exactly, and they keep the what's it called roster, I think Alorum is probably gonna take the starting spot over Dokla. I think he actually played pretty well, though I do think he was actually outplayed by Viper for the most part. I think that he honestly did. What's it called? Like he did have an impact on the game, like in terms of the fact that he didn't have to get a pocket pick for it. I think that he plays well on these meta picks, where so as Dokla does not. I think if Dokla wants this spot back, like Dokla has more carry potential. I think that's pretty obvious, but Dokla only does not play these kind of Scions and all that stuff just
the same way he would play like Yorick.
Yeah, I just think. I think it was a pretty good pickup for them. Like at least give Dokla competition and force him to actually improve on these other characters. But Huni beats everybody, whoever they field. I mean, it's just the.
Not after what we just saw.
I think Broken Blade just
he broke that blade.
But
all over Huni's face.
Jungle, I think Lyra played really well the first game. I think that some of his engages were kind of the reason as to why they started winning. He forced out a flash in mid lane, like with he's actually impressive. Flash, E flash. He E'd on the second part of the flash and stunned him with it. But I think that again, I think that he did not play like he didn't even play that badly the second game. Honestly, I think he just got counter ganked and was not aware of the other jungler's presence.
For which one?
For the second game against Lyra against.
I don't know. It just visibly looked like he was just losing.
He didn't
on Lee Sin, who was the better champion early on though.
Lee Sin in
Gragas?
I don't think it's that substantially better. And
like he wasn't making moves around the map.
He tried to gank talk, remember, and that was just
counter. He knew that was lost. That was lost at like minute 7.
No, it was only one kill by the time he came.
It wasn't that Aatrox just at that point. Aatrox was too far ahead.
He was not far ahead at that point. It was one kill. I think that he wasn't down in CS really. I think that at this point, I think that he could have turned the lane right there. But that was a really good gank on Acadian's part to counter gank, and that turned the game. I think that Lyra's been playing a lot better this year. I think that what's it called? Demonte, I don't really need to say anything. He's been playing out of his mind. Probably the best mid laner in the league right now. The Akali game takeover. I think he played the what's it called? But again,
day 1 he played Gallia.
Yeah, he played the Gallia really well. The flash taunt into 3 of them, which was probably won them the game too. But Crown has also been playing really good. I think both games were really good on his part, so it's going to be a really good match. It's going to be a proving ground for Demonte. And then bot lane, I think that they're like.
Good lord, they play Asta and Gate.
They're gonna, and even if they play Arrow, honestly, this is just out. They're outlaned. Like.
You think Piglet's gonna be better than Arrow?
Yeah, I always think he has been. I think that Piglet is gonna outperform just whatever they field in the bot lane. I think that Piglet is just an aggressive laner, and Asta's the exact opposite, honestly. Asta is just one of the most passive laners in the league. He starts doing better towards the later end of the game if you don't take advantage of his weak laning phase. As we saw in his first week, first day again. He did really badly in the laning phase, but
they're going to be using them for a couple of... So they're most likely going to be using them for this week too.
Yeah, so again...
Assuming Academy roster, then Clutch wins is pretty easy.
I think that Clutch is... We saw Piglet kind of take over the second game. I think he did show glimpses of being good in the first game, but he made a few like kind of big mistakes. Did not end up costing him the game, but there was a few mistakes that he needs to take care of. But again, he did dish out a lot of damage, like 2,000 damage above everybody else in the mid game team fight in mid lane. I mean, that was pretty decent. His Ezreal was extremely good in the what's it called? He completely dominated Zen in lane.
I mean, Ezreal, Kaisa.
It's legit not that big a deal. I think you're giving too much credit. There's no reason you should lose that. 1,000 gold down is not excusable. You should not get shoved into lane against an Ezreal.
Kaisa does nothing without a power spike.
She has wave clear, unlike Ezreal. Ezreal can clear waves.
As you're trying to clear the wave, you're getting poked.
You can't.
Tom Kench is poking you too.
Tom Kench has no poke.
Tom Kench,
it does no damage until you get like at least 3 points into it, and you go back for some health, so it does even more damage. He does not poke until then. I think a big portion of it was just again he got outlaned.
I'm just trying to figure out how.
I think that reality is Clutch Gaming, Vulcan's been playing pretty well. He had some really good devours.
I don't know.
And his Lyrna was good.
Lyra hasn't shown too much.
I think his first game was good.
I want to see at least a couple more weeks because he went from like literally like worst jungler last year.
Again, a lot of people were saying they were having mental breakdowns in between games, so I'm gonna say that is a very big. It's gonna be a transition for him, but I think he's doing fine right now. So all around, I don't think Clutch loses anywhere on the map.
Someone predicts Optic. Holy crap!
I think there's reasonable situations, but again, I think Clutch Gaming is probably the second best team in the league right now. So.
I think Asta's better than Piglet.
Okay, I think we're done with that. So that's pretty much it. If you have your kind of situations where you think that we're wrong, feel free to not talk to me because I don't accept criticism. So
I'm smarter than this guy, so please talk to me.
So all around, I think that it's going to come down to a lot of kind of variables that we can't really take into like consideration besides what we've seen so far. So if you have anything that you think we missed and we should, as to why we got the kind of the predictions wrong, just leave them in the comments. Again, we are streaming a lot of these just so if we want to see if you want your questions answered live, just feel free to kind of hop in and ask us a question.
Link to the Twitch will be in the description box below.
It will. I will copy and paste it.
No, what if you don't?
Then I didn't. So, see you guys later, and goodbye and stuff. Where's it at?
Goodbye and stuff.